Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is putting on headphones before they do something hard, before a workout that will hurt, before a conversation they've been avoiding, before a long drive through the dark, or a shift at a job they're trying to get through, or a grief they haven't found words for yet. They are reaching for music the way you reach for water when you're thirsty, automatically, without deliberating about whether it will help, because some part of them already knows it will. Not because music fixes anything, because music does something to the brain that almost nothing else can do. Something so specific, so consistent across every human culture that has ever existed, and so completely absent in every other species that its presence in human life requires an explanation that goes much deeper than entertainment. Music is universal. This sentence gets said so often it has lost its force. So consider what it actually means. Researchers studying human universals, behaviors and capacities that appear in every documented human culture without exception, have identified a short list of things that qualify: language, cooking, religion, burial of the dead, and music. Not a particular kind of music, not a particular scale or rhythm or instrument, but the practice of organizing sound into pattern for emotional and social purposes that appears everywhere humans have ever lived, in every era we have records of, on every continent, in every society, regardless of how isolated from other societies it has been. No human culture has ever been found that doesn't make music. This is not a coincidence. It is a biological fact about what humans are. No other animal makes music the way humans do. Birdsong is often cited as a parallel, and it is superficially similar. Organized sound, produced vocally, with apparent emotional content. But birdsong is largely innate, species-specific, and serves primarily reproductive and territorial functions. It doesn't change in response to the emotional state of the listener. It doesn't synchronize the physiological states of a group. It doesn't carry meaning across contexts the way human music does, shifting from celebration to mourning to worship to battle, depending on nothing but the intention of the people making it. Whales produce complex vocalizations. Gibbons sing territorial duets. But the deliberate, flexible, emotionally variable, socially coordinated production of music. The thing you're doing when you put on a specific song because you need to feel a specific thing is, as far as researchers can determine, uniquely human, and it didn't arrive by accident. The neuroscience of music is one of the most surprising fields in brain research, largely because of how much of the brain music activates. Listening to music you love engages the auditory cortex, the motor system, the limbic system, the prefrontal cortex, the cerebellum, and the nucleus accumbens, the brain's primary reward center, the same region that responds to food, sex, and in some cases, addictive substances. Music doesn't just activate the auditory system the way other sounds do. It recruits an extraordinary range of neural systems simultaneously, in a pattern that researchers have struggled to explain with any single functional account. Why would a sound pattern activate the motor system? Why would it trigger the reward circuitry that evolved for survival critical needs? Why does the anticipation of a musical moment you love produce dopamine before the moment arrives? The answer that has emerged from decades of research points to something fundamental about what music actually does, not to the individual listener, but to groups. Music synchronizes. When people listen to the same music together, their heart rates align, their breathing synchronizes, their neural oscillations, the rhythmic firing patterns of neurons across the brain, begin to mirror each other. This effect, called neural entrainment, happens automatically without conscious effort or intention. You don't decide to synchronize with the people around you when you hear music. Your nervous system does it on its own, using the shared rhythmic structure of the music as a coordinating signal. And the result, a group of people whose physiological states have been brought into alignment by a shared auditory experience, is, from an evolutionary standpoint, extraordinarily useful. Consider what coordination requires. In the absence of language, or alongside language, coordinating the actions of multiple individuals toward a shared goal. Rowing together, hunting together, building together, fighting together requires some mechanism for synchronizing effort across bodies. Music provides exactly that mechanism. Rhythm, specifically, is the tool, a shared temporal structure that multiple people can entrain to simultaneously producing coordinated movement without requiring individual instruction. This is why work songs exist in virtually every culture, why soldiers march to drum beats, why religious rituals across the world involve chanting or singing, why we instinctively bounce a baby to a rhythm when it's distressed. The rhythm isn't decoration, it is a coordination technology, one of the oldest and most reliable that human culture has ever developed. But music does something beyond coordination. It regulates emotion. Specifically, it regulates the kind of sustained collective emotional states that large groups need to maintain over time. Courage before a battle, grief after a loss, joy at a celebration, reverence in a ritual. No other tool humans have developed can shift a group's collective emotional state as quickly, as reliably, or as simultaneously as music. Words can describe an emotional state. Music produces one, directly in multiple people at once, through a mechanism that bypasses the slower, more deliberate processing of language and hits the limbic system with something closer to a direct signal. Your ancestors understood this in whatever wordless way ancient humans understood the tools that worked, which is why every culture that has ever faced a battle has had war music. Every culture that has ever mourned has had funeral music. And every culture that has ever celebrated has had celebration music. Not because music was available and they used it, because music was necessary and they built it. Here's the part that most people don't think about. Music is the only stimulus humans regularly seek out specifically to feel sad. You don't eat food to feel sad. You don't look at beautiful scenery to feel sad, but you will put on a specific song alone late at night because you want to feel the particular texture of the sadness it produces, and you will feel better afterward. This paradox, that sad music reliably improves mood rather than worsening it, has been studied extensively, and the explanation circles back to the social function of music. Sad music, researchers suggest, produces the neurological experience of being accompanied in grief, of not being alone in the feeling, even in its complete absence of other people. The music holds the emotional space that a group would have held. It activates the same neural systems that respond to social support, because for hundreds of thousands of years, music was social support. It was the sound of your group processing something painful together. Your brain, hearing music in an emotional context, responds to it as if the group is present, because for most of human history, when the music was there, the group was there too. Your ancestors sang around fires, in rituals, before hunts, after losses. They sang together and their hearts aligned, and their grief became shared, and their courage became collective. And the music did something that no individual mind could do alone. It made the group feel like one thing, temporarily, which was exactly what survival required. You carry that need forward into a world where you often listen alone through headphones in the dark, and the music still does what it was built to do. It still finds you wherever you are and makes the feeling, whatever it is, something that is slightly more bearable for being, in some ancient and irreducible way, shared.